Hello and welcome into another fantastic, well-prepared, rehearsed, ready to go edition of Talking Bengals. And before we get too far into it, remember to like, subscribe, smash subscribe buttons, do whatever other things you have to do, check boxes, maybe send a smoke signal. I don't know. But subscribe to all of our stuff that we have on social media. Check us out at Talking_Bengals on every social media platform that anybody in their 30s would know exists. Whatever the teenagers are into, we don't know. None of our kids are teenagers yet, so we don't know. We're not sure what to look out for. Give us a few years, and we'll probably know what the kids are into. So we got Nick and Zach with me tonight, guys. How we doing?
Well, Casey, ready for Who Day history coming up. It's going to be an exciting topic.
Curry?
You kind of hurt my heart a little bit saying that. Just give us a couple more years. Yeah, I'm not ready for that. It's 10 in like a couple weeks. I'm not. Not ready.
Yes. And those double digits sneak up on you go, word we don't use on this podcast. I'm old. Golly.
Yeah.
I still got 4 years left, so you guys just let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's great.
Our training camp videographer is already in double digits. I'm just saying.
She's awesome. She provides better video than I can, so.
Not hard, though.
That is true. The bar is pretty low, but she sets the bar very high. Man, we've already got off the rails, and we're like 30 seconds into the podcast.
I don't even think we made it 30 seconds.
I swear we have a script, people. We have a script. We've rehearsed. We're ready to go. And the top story of today, deep. Chase is back. I should have saved the guess who's back for this intro because Chase was a longer hold in, I guess, as people would say. But he's back at practice. I, for one, was not concerned or worried at all. I figured he'd be back at practice when things start to matter. And we're back to things starting to matter, so he's back at practice. But, Nick, what's your reaction to Jamar Chase? Will he or will he not get paid before this season?
I think they're probably going to wait until just before the game to release the contract. I think they came to an idea of what that contract needs to look like already. I think they're just filling out the paperwork right now.
Zach, what are your thoughts on this? I think we all know your thoughts, but share them with the world. Put them out there.
If you didn't listen to our hour-long podcast that we dropped on Monday, I have here the contract drawn up, ready to go, making him the second highest paid player on the team. The deal is higher than CeeDee Lamb's deal that just got signed today, but signatures will still be wet not until next Thursday. Okay, that would be press release will be during halftime of the Chiefs-Ravens game. Write it down, save it, put it on the books, send it to your Vegas bookies, whatever you want to do. It's happening. We got to spoil the opener.
And that one will actually be a topic we save for next week of who are we actually rooting for, Ravens Chiefs. So be thinking about that. Give you a little teaser there to tune in next week to hear our thoughts on who we'd rather see not lose. Because I don't want to see either one of them win, but somebody I guess has to. So we'll just say not lose. But as far as I'm concerned, I still think Jamar Chase is going to get paid next year. That's what I see happening. I just don't see any sense of urgency out of the Bengals to get it done. They still got him on a contract for 2 years. So it'd be great if they get it done. It'll be great if they don't get it done. Hey, as long as he plays and plays well, that's about all we really care about as Bengals fans.
Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin' Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkingbengals@gmail.com.
Now we'll move into the moment everyone has been waiting for because it's the final preseason game last week. We don't have to talk about the preseason after this episode. It's done. It's over. No more. And really, the final preseason game, they shouldn't even sell tickets for. It should just be, free to the public. And so that way, these guys who are work their butts off for their entire life to get to the NFL, they can have an opportunity to invite everyone they know to come down and watch them in an NFL uniform. Because the sad reality is most of the guys that played this week may never put on a football uniform again. And we've all been there. That's a crappy experience, whether it happens at 18, whether it happens at 20-something, whether it happens in your 40s. That's not a fun experience. So I know a lot of people joke and say, oh, it's the scrub bowl or whatever. Yeah, unfortunately, there is a talent disparity in the NFL. But, they should make this game free, let these guys have everyone they ever wanted to come watch them play. And that's just my personal opinion. But let's get to the actual game breakdown. I'll stop being so sentimental. Zach, you can lead us off with your cheers and jeers of this preseason game.
All right. Well, I'm going to lead with jeers. And the only reason I'm going to lead with jeers, and it's not even going to be about the game itself, it's going to be about myself because I didn't even watch the game. So I have no idea what happened. I didn't even turn it on. It is what it is. So the jeers on me. I'm a bad podcaster, I guess, for the Bengals because I just didn't watch the game. However, I did want to say if you want to make the last preseason game interesting, do a contract signing with the UFL. It might go over better than, ones with certain organizations we leave nameless. And, let them play each other. That might be interesting. That might sell some tickets. And that might help actually both parties.
Yeah. Now, since you didn't watch any of the preseason game, you have to do 10 Hale Burrows and one Jamar Chase thing. I don't know. There we go. Anyways, Nick, what are your cheers and jeers?
That's so off. And that was so off-putting to Catholics, by the way. Anyways.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
I'll call you out. I was talking to Casey, not you.
Get a sense of humor is all I'm saying. If you're taking yourself that seriously, get a sense of humor.
Just saying, Casey. Just saying. Okay?
Jim, you know your name.
I'm more sarcastic than anything. Yeah. But no, seriously, I think that the three jeers, it's their last game. Knowing what that feels like to say, this is going to be my last chance to be on the field. It's a good and bad feeling at the same time, but, that kind of sucks. Cheers. Honestly, our last string defense didn't really look too bad. I'll be honest. If they're the guys who didn't make the team, oh, God. I'm excited to see, the guys who did make the team, what they're going to do. I think it's going to be a freaking awesome year.
Word. I like that. I think the defense is going to be stout. But my jeer is going to be going to the Bengals as a franchise because they cut their only Lombardi that they had. The fourth-string quarterback. Come on now. You got to keep him around until we get another Lombardi to hoist at the end of the season. Come on now. I'm just kidding. But at least they let him go in there and take a knee a few times so he can say he participated in an NFL game. So that kind of keeps with the theme we talked about at the beginning. And that's my cheer. So actually he gets my jeer and my cheer. He can say I was on the field, took snaps in an NFL preseason game, didn't just wear a uniform on the sideline. Congratulations, young man. Enjoy whatever your other endeavors are. And that goes to all the guys who didn't make it. Keep battling, keep fighting. There's something out there for you if you don't get back to football.
Show your pride for Ken and Willie Anderson's Hall of Fame candidacy with our exclusive t-shirt featuring a bold design. This shirt lets you celebrate two football legends. Plus, 30% of proceeds go to the Ken Anderson Alliance and Willie Anderson Lineman Academy. Wear your support and make a difference today.
Well, moving on to other fun topics, we're going to go into the cuts. Wah, wah, wah. I already gave one away, but Zach, you get to do the rest.
Well, let's look at it. So earlier this week, hold on, I've got two different screens up for this. So right before today's cuts, so that we are record on Tuesdays if you didn't know. So over the weekend, the 11 that we waived, Hakeem Butler, the notable for him, he only had one catch over the 3 games on 3 targets for 12 yards. Halfback Noah Kane, 11 carries, 39 yards, 2 catches for 10 over the 3-game period. Jackson Carman, I think everybody kind of saw the writing on the wall with that one. Andre Carter, kind of surprising seeing how we don't have a lot of depth at the edge position right now. Aaron Casey, the linebacker, Michael Dow, Alan George, Kwame Laster the second. He had 8 catches on 13 targets for 47 yards. As Casey alluded to, Rocky Lombardi didn't even make it out of the weekend. He threw 4 for 8 for 33 yards. Guard Eric Miller and defensive tackle Joshua Pryor. That was the 11 from the weekend. Now to go over the 16 from today, we had the waived players, but how about the terminated contracts to 2 vested veterans? Jalen Davis at corner, Logan Woodside. That means we don't have a third string quarterback on the opening day roster. Not really surprising in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe Logan or Rocky end up on the practice squad and they're just used in emergency situations for activations based on the new league rules for third quarterbacks this year. All right, moving on to the 16 that was waived other than those 2 and the 11 already mentioned. Travis Bell, Nate Brooks, Cole Burgess, Devin Cochran, Elijah Collins, Carlos Davis, Dominic Davis, Nate Gillum. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I apologize. I can't read. Cam Grandy, Devin Harper, Shaka Hayward, Trey Hill, Shedrick Jackson, PJ Jules, Kendrick Pryor, and Lance Robinson was waived due to injury. So the biggest thing for me I find with this was some of the key takeaways as far as those that cut and those that made it. All 10 rookies that we drafted, plus the undrafted linebacker, all stayed on the team. I think that speaks volumes of what the team is trying to do. I think they're trying to free up some space. Going back to the Chase contract negotiations right now, just building on those rookie contracts and trying to make room so that way we can pay the primetime players, if you will. So a lot of notables there. I think we went over what quick math, 16, 11, and 2, 30, 31, maybe. I don't know.
All the Kentucky public school education. So, how many fingers? If we all put our fingers and toes out there, we may be able to count that high. But anyway, I think, there was nobody on there that shocked me for them being cut. I mean, I guess Trey Hill would be the one that's like, oh, he's been on the team for a few years. Yeah, but he's okay, and you were always concerned if he was your option at backup center. All right, so Nick,
Mike Lee has played a phenomenal preseason as the backup center. So I think he showed the reason why we kept him over Trey Hill.
Mike or Matt?
Yes.
What a government answer.
Whatever I said it was, that's what it is. I always said it was that. Yeah, sure. It's always been that.
People still get my name wrong, so it's all good. So,
gosh, Nicholas, any thoughts on cuts?
No comment on cuts. I mean, essentially, I was just the only one I'm still surprised that we kept was Travion Williams.
If you are new to this podcast, we think he is a wonderful human being, and I got cut off. So there may be a curse. He put a curse on us because my video just cut out. So I'm not going to put any more hate on Travion Williams. Nick, you go ahead and do your thing with injuries.
Yeah, I mean, really just notable injuries that we're looking at right now. Really, Cam Sample out for the year. We got Chris Evans out for the year. I guess really Travion Williams, that would probably be the reason why we kept him. With Chris Evans being out for the year. We have Miles Murphy, out 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. Apparently they're going to play that kind of a little bit more cautiously. Just want to make sure that he gets back and healthy with how well of a performance we can expect out of him when he comes back. with it being a non-contact injury and being a sprain, really it's just how well do you feel? How strong do you feel there? They can brace that up and he'll be fine. Really, I'm not really seeing too many other notable injuries. I mean, you got Brad Robbins being a punter, but really punters are almost a dime a dozen unless you got Kevin Huber. So that's about it for injuries. Anybody else got anything to add, Zach?
No, I mean, I don't wish anything ill will on Brad Robbins by any means, because that would be a terrible humanly thing to do. However, I think it's better for the team that he's injured right now, and we go with the punter that we did actually keep. So, yeah. I think Miles Murphy also, I think that's another one. I think as long as it's just a sprain and it doesn't just continue to linger. I know that we've dealt with sprains in the past with other sporting activities in our younger ages, and sometimes they tell you the sprain is worse than the break. So hopefully it doesn't carry on throughout the season. So interesting one to watch there.
Well, hopefully my video stays on now. I'm having some technical difficulties. I think Trayvon Williams put a curse on me for all the smack I've talked. So now I'm kind of worried to talk any more smack about him in the future. But we've talked about the injuries. Now we're going into notable free agents after cuts. Maybe these guys can be a fit for the Bengals. Probably not fits for the Bengals. But just interesting people to talk about. Desmond.
We lost you, buddy.
Terrible trades that's happened in recent history. Zappy, another quarterback. So, yeah, if you're in the need for mediocre quarterbacks, there's a lot of them out there right now. Kadarius Toney, we all remember him from Kansas City. So he's actually been cut. He's available. Somebody's going, we need to snatch him up. Let's not. Let's not say we didn't.
Hey, buddy.
Something's funny for these people, and I'm going to have to ask why at some point later. What's so damn funny? Dang funny.
It's your technology. You're the one with the problems this week, not me.
I couldn't hear. You said something about a QB, and then next thing you know, it went out.
We were talking about Bailey Zappi. I'm pretty sure you led with Desmond Ridder from UC getting cut by the Arizona Cardinals. I believe that's what you were talking about. And then you cut out, and then you went into Bailey Zappi. So notable QBs being out there. So I think I can fill in the gaps for you there just a smidge.
Good. So now I should be back. Like I said, this is going to be called the Curse of Trayvon Williams. That's what this episode is going to be called, because good Lord, it's just the best with everything. Kadarius Toney, if you couldn't read my lips, that's what I was trying to say. He's also a notable free agent after cuts. And the last one I'm going to talk about is Noah Brown, another wide receiver. Actually, let's keep going. Anybody else that's we all know Samaje Perine's available. Do we want Samaje Perine back? Maybe.
Why not? If he's cheap, why not? He knows the system.
If he's over Trayvon Williams, then yeah. Oh, here I'm gonna cut out again. Dang it.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't freak out. It's all good.
Trayvon, I'm just joking. You're a better athlete than I am.
I mean, that is true.
Not too high.
He's definitely a better athlete than all three of us combined.
It's a very low bar for the three of us as athletes at this point. Especially we were always like, meh, but now it's like, meh.
I wouldn't even put yeah. Anyway, I would be all right with Samaje coming back. Like Nick said, he knows the system. He blends well with the offense, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you already lost Chris Evans, which would be that role. I know Chase Brown is supposed to be that role too, but it's just another weapon for Joe Burrow. We only kept 3 running backs as of right now on the roster for the 53-man, but 5 tight ends. So maybe that's somebody they are planning on to target, and then somebody else gets cut down the road. So,
I mean, to be fair, it's 4 tight ends and a slot receiver that looks like a tight end.
Be fair.
Gesicki.
Yeah, I mean,
I love you,
Gesicki's a
Mike.
slot receiver. I mean, he knows what he is. He knows what he is. He knows he's not really a blocker. He'll openly admit it. So I'm not slinging shade, as the kids would say. But yeah, he's just not clink, 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 or whatever else. I don't know. But yeah, he's not a blocker. That's just not what he does. I don't know what the stuff is. What's funnier? Oh, dang, no, it's not that time. That is Talking Bengals After Dark. We'll get to that in our personal chat afterwards.
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin' Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair prices. Tell us Talkin' Bengals sent you and get 5% off all services. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
Anyways, now it is time for trivia. Josh was supposed to deliver trivia tonight. He is under the weather. We have him listed as day-to-day. We might have to put him on the PUP list if he doesn't get better soon. But he did give us a great question. So, unfortunately, I was hoping I'd get a chance to answer this one, but let's see. So, it's going on one of Nick's favorite positions where he excelled in football, kicker. So, of all qualifying Bengals kickers with at least 90 attempts, who are the 3 most accurate in Bengals history?
Graham. Neil
Shane Graham
Rackers.
is correct. No.
No? Doug Pelfrey?
Neil Rackers? No.
McPherson.
Pearson's correct.
And
We got
then
2 of
there's
3.
the one in the 80s. I can't remember his name. He led us in. He was kicking the years that we went in the Super Bowl. What's his name?
It is not Jim Breach.
It's not Breach?
No, you're Breach. I'm shocked. He is 11th on the list for accuracy. His accuracy percentage was actually no, he's 11th on the list overall. Won't let me sort for just accuracy. There we go. Let me sort. Yep. Okay. So with at least 90 attempts, he'd be in the top 10 for accuracy.
So what is where's
Shane Graham,
Doug on the list?
Money Mac. No, Doug Pelfrey's not on the list.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Where is he on the list, though, if he's not in the top 3?
Give me a second. I got to sort the list.
Ugh.
I think
I know,
Pelfrey's going to be on
worse.
like 12 or something. He's like 12 or 13 probably.
He's got to be at least top 5. He wasn't a terrible
Love
kicker.
Doug
I mean,
I love Doug Pelfrey. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't really hit too many of the long ones.
Keep thinking here. Keep thinking.
Give me like a decade.
yeah.
Was it the 60s?
No, it was not the 60s.
Was it at least in like while I was alive?
I'm assuming that was a no. Not while we were alive. So therefore,
Or that had to
I'm-
be the 70s. And I don't know the last one then.
According to go ahead. Go ahead. Jeez.
I was just
Yeah,
going to say that it would make perfect sense for the rules to say while at least the 3 or 4 of us that are answering the questions were still alive going forward, but I have no idea on this one.
So Shane Graham and Money Mac are obvious. The two are obvious too. Who's the third one?
We're going to leave it open for the guests to actually answer. So you should, if you subscribe and like us, go to our Facebook page, put in your answer, let us know who it is.
All right, I guess
That
you're
is
going to tell
based-
me afterwards.
Yeah, so based off at least 90 kicks, at least 90 kicks with the Bengals, field goal accuracy percentage. Zach's going to type it in. Anyway.
Take your career to new heights with constructive curiosity. Whether it's career coaching, mental performance training, or business management consulting, Constructive Curiosity has the insight to get it right. Visit constructivecuriosity.com to get started today.
So moving on to our next topic, Who Day history. So this week in Who Day history, we don't look at a specific player. We are looking at a game. We're not talking about practice, talking about a game, which everyone cares more about than practice because fans only care about practice. We're talking about the Bengals versus the Browns, 2004, one of the highest scoring games in NFL history. Zach, lead us off with some quarter-by-quarter recap. So,
all right. So in the first quarter, the Browns lead it off. They go down the field in the first 43 seconds, and they score. From Kelly Holcomb to Steve Hilden, 7-yard pass. They go up 7-0. Kelly Washington gets an 18-yard pass at the 12:58 mark from Carson Palmer, where Shane Graham then kicks the said field goal or PAT. We tie it at 7. Chad Johnson gets a bomb on the next drive, and from Carson for 46 yards. They go up 14-7. Closing out the first quarter, Phil Dawson kicks a field goal. Going into the second quarter, again, they get the ball back. Phil Dawson hits another 29-yarder. It's 14-13. TJ Houshmandzadeh catches a 3-yard touchdown pass from Carson Palmer, going up 21-13. Shane Graham hits the next 2 field goals, going up 27-13. Steve Hilden catches another 20-yard bomb from Kelly Holcomb, going up 27-20. Houshmandzadeh gets a 53-yard bomb from Carson Palmer in the third quarter. Antonio Bryant gets on the board with a 9-yard pass from Mr. Kelly Holcomb. It's now 34-27 Bengals. Rudy Johnson breaks one off there in the red zone, going up 41-27. Antonio Bryant joins the touchdown gang again. 55 yards from Kelly Holcomb, 34-41. And then thanks, Nick, for that. Appreciate that. Save me some research later. Shane Graham opens the fourth quarter up with a 36-yard field goal. The score is now 44-34. The Browns then have a 1-yard rush from William Green. Steve Hilden catches his third, right? Did I count that right? Yep, third touchdown pass from Kelly Holcomb to go up 48-44. Rudy Johnson 7-yard rush. With 6.5 minutes left in the game, the Bengals go back up 51-48, and then Delta O'Neal. It's a 31 interception return to close out the game at the 143 mark. Bengals win 58-48.
Boom. What a game. Before we get into the next part of this, I do have to correct one thing with the trivia question. It is a kicker that we've all watched. I had 2 names confused on the spreadsheet. It is a kicker that we watched. Still going to leave it open to the fans to guess. It is a more recent kicker. So there's my clues to the trivia. And if you have any guesses, like I said, tag us on any of our social media at talking_Bengals. Okay, so stats overview. Let's take a quick look at how this game panned out. The Bengals had 504 total yards. Browns had 462. Carson Palmer versus Kelly Holcomb in the quarterback contest. Palmer had 251 yards. Holcomb had 413 yards. So got crushed. Rudy Johnson is who saved the day for the Bengals, 202 yards. Was a workhorse. And then Chad Johnson got out-received by Antonio Bryant with 131 yards and 2 touchdowns to Chad's 117 and 1 touchdown. But he did have more receptions. So it's just a crazy scoring game that, I mean, is just unbelievable. You don't see high-scoring games like this very often. So very interesting to see. The turnover battle, the Bengals actually lost. They had 3 turnovers. They had more first downs, and the time possession was roughly 2.5-minute difference. The Bengals had the ball for 2.5 more minutes than the Browns did. So, Nick, go into your portion here.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you call out the best play of the game, in my opinion, I think the play of the game was Delta O'Neal at the end of the game. Really, really putting the nail in the coffin. He hammered it home. Taking that interception back to the house definitely put the nail in the coffin. Highest scoring game of all time. That's huge. That's something to really put the capstone there. Just put the lid on it and sealed it off, threw some dirt on top of it, and called it a day.
Having been at that game, it was ridiculous. Because every time you turned around, somebody was scoring. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was just back and forth. And there was no defense. Like, it literally, if you were one of the defensive players other than Delta O'Neal, it seemed like the defense was having a rough day. You had some turnovers here and there, and then the defense was just giving up touchdowns. So if it wasn't for turnovers, the defense would totally be ashamed of the game. But it was just interesting to watch. I mean, I was too young at the time. I was in high school, but too young to appreciate how awesome the game actually was. And to think, oh, you'll see another game like this. I've not seen the Bengals have another game like that. Be cool if they did again, but hopefully it's just lopsided and it's like 100-7. That's what I want to see. I'll take that game. But anyways, we digress. Moving on from our Who Dey history segment, we're going to be going into closing thoughts. Nicholas, what are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, closing thoughts. Definitely glad that the season's upon us. Ready to see what the Bengals can do this year. Really just kind of done talking about it right now. Really, really excited to see how each player individually is going to help the team move forward and get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year.
Say to that, Thackeray?
Two, which is no surprise to anybody. Numero uno, I hate that we have this big, long week of gap in between preseason and the regular season, although I'm pretty excited about college football starting up. Not excited for all the extra traffic that's going to be in town here in T-Town. And then my second thought, big shout out to the alma mater, the Boone County Rebels, getting their win last week. So shout out to those guys. Yeah, I haven't watched a game in a while, but I did see that they won. So, it was nice to break this shirt out today. Keep going. Other than that, follow us on all of our social media mediums: Facebook, X, TikTokies, YouTubes, Instagram threads, all of them. It's talking_Bengals. Or you can go check out some of our merch that we have on the website or some of the other stuff that we have on there at talkingbengals.com. Okay? Talkingbengals.com. The only G is me. All right? Have a great night. Casey, take us out.
All right, so with that, don't forget, Ken Anderson, Willie Anderson, so I got the petition out there. We have revamped the shirts. They're even more awesome than they were previously. So go ahead and get yourself one. Hopefully we got some cool people posting pictures in those soon. Yeah, get your Ken Anderson or the Anderson Brothers t-shirt. Support them. 30% of those proceeds go to the Ken Anderson Alliance, which is a fantastic cause. If you haven't looked into it, let us know. Excuse me. And then on the closing thought here, we do have some more cool merch coming, fall specific. Bernsey is working away in his creativity lab and making it look cool and ready and all that fun stuff, because Lord help us if I do the designing. That's all I'm going to say. It's not going to be a good day for anybody. But that's going to end it up for us. Preseason's over. The season is upon us. We should have a couple pretty awesome episodes coming up, including some crossovers. So, like I already said, follow us everywhere you want to follow us, and Who Dey.
Hey.
Show your Bengals and Northern Kentucky pride. Get the Talking Bengals Y'all shirt now. Order today exclusively at talkingbengals.com.